Welcome, teachers. If you have decided to try out my daily fractions for this year to see if that helps with practicing skills in a spiral way, kind of the calendar math for upper elementary, to get them more familiar with fractions and division and multiplication and factors and prime and composite, all those things. I hope you find this to be useful. This is something that I have been working on for a little while, and I'm pretty proud of it. If you printed out the pages and are not exactly sure what to do with them, this is what I have done. I've done it a number of different ways, had it in a binder, had it in a number of different forms for the students to use. And what I found to be the most useful is just a folder that has 3 prongs, because they can easily take it in and out. If it's in a binder, it takes them a little bit longer to get it out. Now you want to put what I call the worksheet in a plastic sleeve, because they're going to be doing work on this every single day. They will need to have a highlighter or something and a dry erase marker. So they'll pull it out and highlight the days each day to fill it in. You may choose to use this as a way of showing patterns, to show groups of 5s, groups of 10s, things like that. Or you may just have them fill it in. If you look on my videos, I just fill it in, but you can choose to use this in a way you want to. This dark line shows where the 100th day of school is, that 100 grid up here, and then here's the 80 below it, just to show that separation of 100 and 80. So this is something you can use in a few different ways if you choose to. So they highlight it, they put it back in, they do the work on here with their dry erase marker. Now something that me and my teammates have done is, with the video, as the kids get more familiar with how to do it, see if they can actually beat me, if they can get to the answer before I do. These videos are free for you to use, so if you want to use it in something, like I know there's a program that you can stop and have them answer questions before they continue in the video. If you have them using it on the Chromebook, you are welcome to do that and add that in, so that they're being forced to kind of answer questions along the way. So that's something I may be working on to share, but I'm not sure how to exactly share that yet. But when I do, I'll make sure people are aware of that. On the back, if you notice, is the prime number sieve, and in one of the first few days of the videos, I go through and they circle all the prime numbers, because that will cut down on a lot of the work knowing the prime numbers. And then this is what I call our data collection page, because we're collecting our data, our fractions. And so every day we keep track of it. If your school is not in trimesters, if you're in quarters, I have another one, so make sure that you print out the one that says quarters and not trimesters. My district is in trimesters, and so that's what I have it for. On the videos, your calendar may not match my district's calendar. I have put down the dates and everything when I fill it in for my district. If you're doing it from a different district, you'll want to keep that in mind. But I keep that right behind. This could be a good folder that you also keep other tools in, divisibility rules, different ways to do multiplication, division, number of words, a multiplication chart. Just, that's something you could also keep in here. I know that some of the other teachers have chosen to do that, and so that might be a good idea. So this is not just daily fractions, but number tools or math tools for the students to use. But after a while, if they're not taking care of it, it can get a little bit beat up if they're not using it. I mean, if they're using it for more than one thing. Okay, so here, this may be a little bit intimidating, but I think this is one of the key pieces to get across equivalent fractions for the students, and to understand the patterns that go along with fractions and fractional pieces. So even though it may look intimidating, I do go over it in the videos, so you can just have them use it with the videos. But putting it together is the key. So here along the way is actually our factors that will be making the groups for the fractions. So I'll say groups of 2, groups of 3, groups of 4, so that they know exactly where to go along. But the other one, if you notice, has nothing here. Well, here it starts at 90 180ths. This one ends at 90 180ths. There was no way to have the numbers legible enough on one sheet of paper, so I had to do it with 2, and also they wouldn't have been able to write down any of the fractions for day 2 if I made it any smaller. So what you want to do, if you notice, yours has more at the end. What you want to do is cut off along the line, or maybe pretty close to where these dash marks are. And you'll want to overlap best you can the other page. If you cut off those lines, it can work as well, but sometimes it's hard to line up. Once you line it up, what I recommend is getting just a little bit piece of tape on just the top. And the bottom. So if you do it on the top and the bottom, then you flip it over, and this is actually where you want to tape it together. And the reason you want to tape it on the back instead of the front is if the tape is covering those dash lines, the students won't be able to write on them. They, because of the slickness of the tape. I usually just use packing tape because it's nice and thick, but you don't have to. So you just tape it on the back, and that leaves the front free to be filled in. And they still can lift it. I have had some students that think that they need to write numbers on the overlapping part too, so it's just a reminder to them. If you want to stick some tape on ones that don't have lines, you can, but they need to be able to write here, so you don't want to put tape here. And then when I fold it, I don't fold it exactly in the middle, because I've noticed that makes it harder for them to write when it gets to the middle of the year on that half day mark. I usually just fold it kind of where it overlaps with the other page, or where the tape is, and then have them just keep it in that front pocket or maybe back pocket. Always there. They do want to put their names on it, and it should fit nicely there. I do also recommend that you have your own folder that you keep track of the fractions every day and write down the number line, because if you have kids that are absent, they can always watch the video, but after a while, if you had somebody who is sick for a significant amount of time, it could take a while to watch all the videos. So having a page of your own where it's written down and they can copy, especially if your information here is different than on my video, that's a good one to have. I would just call it my take two. Take two. If you didn't get it down, here, let's get it down. Make sure you do. So I would recommend having your own folder with the information kept in it. All right, so I hope you find this useful and enjoy using it this year. And thank you for joining me.